Welcome, welcome, welcome to the UpKeep Pledge Pros Podcast, a podcast dedicated to unmatched value and unwavering support for our customers and the community at large. Today, we have another UpKeep customer, one of almost 4 years. We have Antwain Henry with Addison HVAC. He is the maintenance coordinator over there. And we are so happy to have you, Antwain. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. We love having upkeep customers on the Pledge Pros podcast, especially ones that are either planners, schedulers, maintenance coordinators, technicians, all of those. Those are the positions that understand the reality of what's going on in the business, right? They're not too far disconnected and they're not too in the weeds, right? You have like this happy median there. But before we get into, I have a bunch of questions for you. Before we get into all those things, tell us a little bit about who you are, Antwain, and a little bit about Addison HVAC.
Okay, I'll start with Addison HVAC. Addison HVAC is a company that manufactures HVAC units, direct outdoor air solutions. It's very unique because we do custom made units, and when our customers put in orders, they specify exactly what specs they're looking for. We have engineers that determine whether those requests are possible. And if they are, our guys put them together. And another unique thing about Addison HVAC is a lot of the manufacturing is done by manpower. There's not a lot of machines in this building.
Sure. That's
Um,
awesome.
I'm the maintenance coordinator. I've been working here the exact same amount of time that we've had upkeep. I was
Nice.
hired on for the purpose of managing the upkeep system.
Nice.
So um, I don't know what else I can tell you about myself.
Well,
Uh,
how'd you get it? How'd you start? Where'd you start in maintenance?
I would say I started in maintenance right after high school because I went into the military. I went into the Navy,
Me
and I
too.
wanted. I remember the story. So I wanted to fly, and they told me that I had to be a officer. But if I went in as an aviation technician, then I would have an opportunity to fly. I would have an opportunity. I would have my foot in the door towards
Sure.
flying. Now I never did fly. However, I learned a lot as far as electronics because I was aviation electronics technician.
So you're AE?
AT at the time
AET.
was AT.
Okay.
Yeah. So after the military, I did not stay in maintenance. I dibbed and dabbed in different areas, just searching for where I felt comfortable at. I
Sure.
spent a lot of time as a paralegal.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And because I live in Florida, I really had the idea that, HVAC installations would be a good field to get into. And so I was looking for jobs in the HVAC area. I came here with that intention to really get hands-on as far as installation, service, and repair. But when they saw my resume, they felt that I was a good fit for a maintenance coordinator.
Right. Right.
And I got to give them credit. They were right. It really fits my personality and my skills. And I've been enjoying it. Like I said, I've been doing it for 3+ years at this point. I don't see stopping anytime soon because there's so much to learn.
Right. And you were in the Navy and everything is planning. Everything is trying to be way and ahead of all the things that need to be done, right? So aircraft maintenance is not just something that they think of the day of and then you do it, right? It's
Right.
something that's been on the schedule for months, weeks, days, right? So the Navy, for me, I know it taught me a lot about maintenance and planning and scheduling and understanding criticality and manpower allocation and all these things that we do. Were you in a squadron?
No, sir.
Were you ship's company?
No, I was actually land-based.
Oh, okay.
No,
Gotcha. Gotcha. Where were you stationed?
Pensacola.
Okay, I've been there. I went to A school there. I learned aircraft firefighting. Did you?
No, I went to A school there too as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I learned aviation electronics.
Cool, cool. Did they
Yeah,
put you
I
through?
level and O level.
Oh, you did O level and I level? Good.
I did O level. I did not go into I level.
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, I was eye level maintenance for the aircraft carrier.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool. Did they put you through firefighting school?
No.
Really? Huh. So you were shore duty. What types of aircraft were you performing maintenance on?
I really can't say. My memory is not that good as far as it was about 20 years ago. So
Wow. Okay, gotcha. So if I was in 10 years ago and we had FA-18s, babies, rhinos, hornets, EA-6B prowlers, all those, well, on the carrier at least. So land base, you might have had anything. Um, but I also, real quick, before we jump into more of the questions, Antoine, I want to talk about for everybody listening. Antoine was sponsored by UpKeep to go to SMRP last year, where he was able to meet. I met him. He met our team. I think he met Ryan as well.
I did.
Yep, and he was able to access everything SMRP had. He went through and did tons of track sessions, training sessions, sitting in on all the content that was there. And Antoine, can you tell us a little bit about SMRP for you? And kind of, we were talking a little bit about it before we started recording. All the benefits that you were able to derive from that.
As I was mentioning earlier, SMRP, just going to that conference, that was my first time at the conference. That was my first year even knowing that that conference existed. Being around other people that were in different, I'm gonna say different positions of our journey and maintenance, right? Those who just
Mhm.
started, those who've been doing it for years, those who are into consultations or whatnot. So many experts in so many fields. I learned so much information. I was filled with information from the morning to the evening, even the networking afterwards, just talking to people about the topics of maintenance and their experiences. It was an eye opener for me.
Yeah.
Before going to that conference, I understood what we had going on here. I had never been to another manufacturing plant or any other place where they did maintenance. So I only saw so much. It allowed me to see the field for all it has to offer, and what all I could be doing in my position. Even today, I'm still not implementing everything that I have learned or been exposed to throughout the classes and throughout talking to other people that are in the field. I'm
Right.
still learning, I'm still applying. It's not that I haven't stopped trying to do everything, but it's so much to learn. I need to do one thing at a time. I was inspired actually to take the CMRP. I
Good.
just finished studying their new program, and I'm scheduled to take the test on the 20th of this month. So I
Everybody
love.
heard it. You said it out loud. We all heard it. Good. Love to hear it. Who you took you're taking a training test or a training course?
Well, SMRP started a training course
Yeah.
about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Before that, they didn't have a training course, and they just
Nope.
had like, of course, they had the body of knowledge and recommended books or whatnot. But
Mhm.
that was so much information, and to me, I just felt more confident doing a program that they put together.
Sure, sure.
So I feel pretty
It,
good about the test.
yeah, they didn't have any of that when I got my CMRP 6, 7 years ago. I read those books and just drew from my experience. But those self-paced learning are really great. I mean, Reliability X offers a really, really good one that we use at Upkeep. I think Iridicio offers one as well. There's a whole bunch out there. Anyone you do within those organizations is going to be top tier. Um, that's good. That's good. You're going for that. That's going to help tremendously. And don't sweat not have implemented all the things that you've learned, right? You need to start at the core of what makes your organization tick, right?
Mhm.
You need to understand the fundamentals, implement the fundamentals, and align what you're doing with the business needs at the moment. Don't let anybody tell you this is what you should or shouldn't do, right? I mean, organizations are very different and very dynamic, and you need to align your goals with the business's goals, right? So if you do that, you're likely doing something correct. And then you can start to expand on it, like you said, as you learn more and get your foundation built in place, right? So that's awesome to hear. I love hearing that. So I wanted to ask you before Upkeep, I know you said you were in kind of some different fields and things like that, but and you were hired on as someone to be an Upkeep administrator essentially.
Yes.
Did you have any dabbling with any kind of other CMMS or maintenance platforms prior to using Upkeep?
Not at all. Not at all. I started by going through the Upkeep University. I had to learn the program. It took about a month after being hired for us to actually get that program started here, because
Right,
it took for me to learn Upkeep itself
right.
and what a CMMS is.
Yeah,
So it's my first experience with the CMMS.
Right.
but it's always changing. It's very helpful.
Yep.
We're happy with it. My manager's happy with it. Everybody's here is happy with it. I get a lot of the credit of upkeep. I know that, when people give me those compliments, I know where it's coming from. It's coming from the program and its ease of use.
Sure, sure. That's good. And when you were in the Navy, you guys probably use maintenance action forms to like work for work and stuff like that. So you actually do have some experience with that. 20 years ago.
It's a lot changed in 20. It's a
Yeah,
lot changed.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember using I still to this day do not remember what they call it, but I remember utilizing it in the Navy, and it was so clunky and just black screen, yellow, figures or numbers and letters on it, and had all these different acronyms and codes for everything. But I'm glad as much as you are that now maintenance systems are so much more user friendly, right?
Mhm.
Um, was in okay. So you being the maintenance coordinator, how many technicians are working at Addison in the manufacturing plant?
We have 6 technicians.
Six. Okay, cool. What types of machines are they maintaining and repairing on a day-to-day basis?
Okay, we have laser machines. So they cut the sheet metal for the
Yep.
boxes. We have benders that bend that sheet metal. We have copper benders because it is HVAC, so we have a lot of copper tubing.
Yep.
Uh, what else would I say? We maintain the vehicles here, so we have box trucks, we have pickup trucks,
Forklifts, stuff like that.
forklifts. We have several forklifts and fork trucks, I should say.
Yeah.
Um, what else? We have paint booths that we need to maintain.
Hmm.
We maintain the building.
Okay, so you do facilities as well.
We do facilities, we do grounds, we do
Nice.
vehicle, and we do those machines as well.
Great.
Um,
That's
a
awesome.
lot of our tools are pneumatic. We
Hmm.
have we have two Quincy compressors in the back.
Hmm.
So a lot of our equipment is pneumatic. Like I said, we do a lot of work by hand.
Sure.
So we maintain that Quincy compressor, and we maintain those handheld pneumatic tools.
Okay, cool. Are those Quincy compressors screw compressors or reciprocating compressors?
So reciprocating.
Oh, okay, cool. Awesome. That's good. That's good stuff. And, you were talking a little earlier about the engineering team taking, like, you guys take design requests, and then kind of review them through engineering, and then you make them. Are you guys mainly focused on like residential type units, or custom commercialized units?
Oh yeah, these units are very large. They're for commercial buildings. They
Gotcha.
are for grocery stores,
Gotcha.
um, hotels, schools.
So big rooftop units you guys are manufacturing.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Okay, because when I was looking up Addison, doing some research in there, I was like, that's not one of the main ones you hear about for like your house, like Train or something like that, right?
It's one of the leading names for what we do,
Right, commercial size, big stuff.
and also we do the big thing about what we do is direct outdoor air.
Okay.
So it's not a recycled air. It's clean air that's constantly coming into that unit.
Wow. Cool. And so you guys sell all over the place then, all over the country?
Global.
Global. Oh, wow. Cool. That's awesome. And you guys are based right there in Florida?
Yes. There's one manufacturing plant here in Orlando.
And no other ones?
No.
So you guys are busy. Do you guys work 24/7?
No, we work all year long. We got 1 year, or excuse me, 1 week of shutdown.
Uh-huh.
Um, 50 hours a week.
Is that shutdown predetermined every year?
It's pretty term. It's Christmas time, between Christmas and New Year's, around that time.
Okay. Do you guys perform any maintenance during that time?
Yes,
I
a
was
lot of
going to ask.
rebuild.
That's
So the
that's
main,
probably a busy week for you.
right.
That's awesome. So okay, here's a quick poke at you. So we're coming up, we're in August, and your turnaround time is what is between Christmas and New Year's. Do you already have PMs and rebuild and corrective work orders that are already in process and ready to roll?
Yes, they locked in. They
Oh,
locked in.
awesome.
Locked in. Yeah.
Awesome. I
That's
love
our
it.
opportunity to get a lot of things done for shutdown, when
Yes.
no one else is around.
Yes. Yes. That's so important. You know, Antoine, there's a lot of businesses that don't shut down at all. It's a massive opportunity to have planned shutdowns. And a lot of times the thought process is, oh, we need to produce, we need to produce, we need to produce, right? But the meantime, the whole time you're producing, you're breaking things, you're wearing things out, right? And you're constantly in this state of fix, repair, fix, repair, fix, repair, or break, repair, whatever. Um, Setting those outages is a great time to get ahead of things so that you can, you're planning a year in advance. And I know a lot of manufacturing does do schedule outages, but there's a lot of industries that don't. And you have to like ask for time. Like, hey, in 3 months, can we stop so we can rebuild this thing? Because it's been eating our lunch every single day, right? So the fact that Addison builds in downtime for maintenance and planned outages for maintenance is super smart. It's very smart. And you guys not being a super, super large like organization, it's that much better, right? Because there's not very many small to mid-tier manufacturing businesses that plan outages. It just doesn't happen.
It's definitely beneficial.
Very beneficial. So I have another question for you. You as maintenance coordinator, how has upkeep optimized or improved your current role? I know you were the champion, you were there from inception. How has it helped optimized the way you plan, manage the workload?
It's beneficial in so many different ways. It stopped a lot of our backlog. It allows me to answer questions at my fingertips, uh, and immediately. So if someone asks about any work order, whether it's a past work order or a present work order, I can give them that information. Asset history is at my fingertips. I can go in and show them, okay, a problem is consistent. It's constantly happening. So this may not be the root cause, or we are spending too much money in this area, or something that's done. It's maybe an operator error. For example, we have probably about 12 benders, and one particular bender has been going out because of a particular part. And we've come to the conclusion that it's probably an operator error, and that operator may need to be retrained.
Sure.
What else can I tell you about that? It helps me to know that the work balance is right, that each technician has enough work or doesn't have too much work.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Very
what else?
important.
I can't say much about the analytics. That's another area that I look forward to working in
Sure.
more.
Sure.
Um, Preventive maintenance is already set, so it comes up. What I really appreciate is the week by week emails
Mm-hmm.
telling me what's going to come up that week, and it
Yep.
allows me to make sure that I have parts ready.
Sure.
I have things coordinated for the guys to do that work in that week.
Are you
Uh,
using the calendar view as well?
yes, I use the calendar view. I use the list view, um, and that's pretty much it. I don't think I use that other view. It's a third view, but I don't too often use that one.
Sure. So are you using spare parts management as well?
Say that again.
Are you using spare parts module in Upkeep to manage your spare parts?
Yes, we got all our spare parts listed, and our
Nice.
parts section is attached to our assets. So
Good.
that makes it also easier. I'm glad you mentioned that. That makes it also easier to order, to reorder,
Yep.
and to make sure that I have what's needed.
Right. You set
Um,
your min and maxes and all that.
yes,
Nice.
yes. And I want to add one last thing. It's probably not the only thing that Upkeep helps out with, but another thing that I found that is very beneficial in is when the technicians keep good notes and we have a recurring issue, we can go back and see what happened, what allowed them to fix that unit, or,
Mm-hmm.
or that issue at that time. Or if we see an issue that is again recurring, we can say, well, this is not the correct fix. It's something that's deeper,
Right.
and being able to see those notes on that asset is beneficial.
Yeah.
Even for someone that has not, let's just say the technician that worked on it is not the same technician that's working on it now. The new technician can utilize that information to fix that problem.
Sure.
So I find it beneficial in training as well.
Yeah. Those notes also can be converted into one of your tasks in your task list, right? So if you get so many identifiers saying that this thing has been causing a problem, well, maybe we should update our PM, right? And say,
True.
hey, we should be looking at this more often now. And then if there is a problem, we know we're looking at it preventively and we can generate a corrective work order from that preventive work order. So now you're starting to link these work orders together and keeping track of where these things are happening. But if you, this is like fundamentals of like defect elimination, right? Is if
Mhm.
you are utilizing your corrective work to drive the way you write and establish your preventive work. Now you're looking at these things at predefined intervals. And then it's easier to start going, we got to replace this thing. We've had 4 corrective work orders where this part has had a problem. We're going to put it on the PM. They're going to look at it now every week as opposed to it just coming up sporadically. And
Mhm.
then we're going to get to the bottom of it on the PM, and we're either going to replace it, modify it, update it, eliminate it, which is the best, um, and so on. So leveraging the data that technicians provide to you can help you and should, in a way, help drive the way you write your service, your task list, right? Because your guys, you know this, your guys out there are experiencing the reality of what happens on a day-to-day basis and using their input to then drive the proactive and preventive side of your maintenance program will get you a step ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you get what I'm saying when I say that? Yeah,
Absolutely.
and
The corrective maintenance allows me to optimize the PMs,
correct.
basically. Yeah.
Yes, because that's like the corrective work is like what's happening on a day-to-day basis, right? Essentially. Yeah, you have your planned work, you have your backlog, you have the guys are going through the routine, but it's more than likely they're going to have a corrective problem come up at some point. And then we want to leverage that corrective work to help drive the benefits of our preventive work, ideally to eliminate a problem altogether. And then your guys, then the work orders you had 6 of, now it's on the PM, and now you're proactively doing something, and then that corrective work type goes away.
Hmm.
Now it doesn't exist anymore, right? You had mentioned about um, you having the credit of like all the stuff with upkeep in your business. Are there any other business units or departments that ask or try to leverage the data that you're building within upkeep?
Our finance department contacts me. Our lab department contacts me for assistance sometimes. I would say that's it.
Yeah.
Finance lab, that should be it.
Does operations ever try to ask you what your plans are for your planning, your scheduling, if you're going to take machines out of service or if you're trying to do something on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis?
I usually initiate those conversations.
Good. Awesome. Awesome. You're like, hey, here's everything I've got planned. What is it? Speak now or forever hold your peace, right?
I wouldn't say that. I would say more like, I'll work with you. So
Of course, of
I
course.
need to know if I can get in there and our guys can take care of this project.
Right, right. Yeah, that's awesome. That's so important. I have conversations with upkeep customers and prospects and stuff all the time, and getting people like you, maintenance coordinators, planners, getting those people like in symbiosis with the operation is key. This the streamline of maintenance and getting things done and having answers when things can't get done is a lot better. If you sit in on the operations meeting and you go, "Hey, here's the schedule. I want to meet. Let's make sure I'm okay. I'm clear to do all these things based on your operational schedule, your throughput." Everyone gives you the green light, Antwain. They're like, "All right, sweet, we're all good to go." And then you arrive at the machine to perform maintenance and they won't let you have it. Right. So now we have a conversation to be had. Now it's like, hey, man, we had an agreement. We were all agreed on this. I wasn't updated on these things. How can we move forward? Because what it does to you is it wastes your resources. You've allocated the time for a technician, maybe spare parts, all these things for that work to be done, and now you can't do it. So we gotta keep those conversations rolling and keep that symbiosis with those departments. That's super cool. The operations leadership were like my best friends when I was the maintenance manager and director of maintenance and reliability. I probably told them too much information because I wanted them to know exactly what I was doing and what the expectations were to solve the problems, right? And to do the work and to get ahead of the maintenance that I could get ahead of.
I think that communication is key.
Super key. Do you ever find yourself um I call this opportunistic maintenance. It's where something happens and either operationally the operation line stops because it's something that they do, or something that maintenance, say you go to do a service on something and it takes longer than expected. Do you ever capitalize on that time to do other work within the same time frame?
My supervisor is should be given the credit for that. He's very thorough. So he's going to make sure that everything is functioning correctly when he puts it back in service.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say it is capitalized, but it's not me doing it. It would be my supervisor.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was so big on that. Operations was calling like, hey, we have a I did a lot of heavy and industrial machines like mining and stevedoring and waterfront. And I would get calls and say, "Hey, we have a ship delay." So we were unloading and loading ships. And the ship would come to port. We would prep all the machines to work the ship. And if the ship had a delay and I knew I had backlog work that I could do in that time frame, I'd rearrange, I'd regroup, and I'd send guys to do that maintenance in that time. So then I don't have to do it later, and I don't have to do it after hours, or I don't have to do it another time, right? So that opportunistic side of taking advantage of and maybe an a
Disadvantage.
a disadvantage. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're taking a shitty situation and trying to make it benefit you through doing more maintenance, right?
Mhm.
And it's I don't what I didn't mean you, right? But supervisors are that person. That's gold that he is or she is doing that, because supervisors are frontline leadership that are ensuring that the work quality, times, and all these things are right, and ensuring those things, ensuring that all the value is there when the work is performed. Um, and if he's kind of moving and shaking to get other things mixed in there during those downtime or those events, good on him, because that's super valuable.
Yeah, he's very detail oriented. He's a perfectionist in a sense. So
So your maintenance organization structure is what? You have like a maintenance manager, supervisor, plant,
myself,
and then
a
technicians.
coordinator, and we have technicians. We have a lead technician, and we have technicians.
Right, right. Cool, cool. That's awesome. And I know I asked you about 24 hours a day, but are your technicians all on the same shift?
It's all one shift. The operations, everybody's on that same shift, except for maintenance will stay late,
Mm-hmm.
at least 2 times a week. To
Hmm.
take advantage of those times where operations is not running.
Right. Cool. That's awesome.
We work long hours at times.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's maintenance life, man.
Hmm.
That's just the real. That's doing business.
Well, the
So
guys are glad to do it. The guys are
what's
glad to
that?
do it. It's not a burden. The guys are
Yeah.
glad to do it.
Right.
So
Well,
the paychecks are reflecting
mhm.
the extra time. So
Right. But it also sounds like you're tooled up and you're equipped to handle those things, right?
yes.
And it's those types of situations are much more difficult if you're pulling grasping for straws, right?
Hmm.
Um, so that's awesome to hear. And I have one last question for you, Antoine, and it's I know I said we were going to talk about it first, but it's the simplest one. And why upkeep?
I cannot answer that question. Why we kept upkeep, I can give you an answer to that. Why we chose upkeep, I was hired like right after the upkeep decision was made.
Sure.
Uh, but upkeep is simple, and it continues to change and improve. That's what I'm really impressed by, and that's why we continue to keep our subscription year after year.
Right.
Is that it gets better and better, and the people like yourself are always helpful, and full of knowledge to share and give and direction. Like I was saying, when I first started Upkeep, I learned so much through the Upkeep University.
Yeah.
Just getting my understanding around CMMS and maintenance in general.
Right.
I'm constantly learning. So it's been a great benefit to us. So
Right.
yeah, we're locked in with Upkeep. We're little Upkeep customers.
Hey, we love to hear it. And I say this, we learn from you. Our whole job is to understand your business, enable the way that you do work, and then by your inputs to what you're doing in our system, we want to make those changes. A lot of those changes you see, Antoine, come from customers. the customer, like just like you, someone be like, hey, how can this do this? Or it would be cool if this could do this. And you might not be the only person that says that. There might be 200 other customers that have had that same idea. Well, we listen and we think we don't know everything, right? We don't pretend to have all the answers.
That was impressive to me is that on several occasions I have been that person and been like, how can I do this? Or it would be nice to have that feature, and I see it pop up and I'm like, okay, wow, I'm being heard. It's adapting to our needs, and I
Yes.
like that.
Yes. It's so important. We don't know everything. We have to innovate through the experiences of our customer because your experiences are the most valid ones as it pertains to your interaction with our system. So if we're just making stuff because we think it's cool and whatever, that's going to help some people, but it's not going to help everybody, you know? Um, that's amazing. We love hearing it. And I'll give a shameless plug to upkeepers. Upkeepers are people who work for Upkeep.
Okay.
And I'm sure you know several of them. Upkeepers are the people who ask all the questions in the form of how, why, when can I create this value, this product, this change, this information for my customer or my client, whatever it is. They're always like, what levers can I pull? What knobs can I turn to get the things that I need to provide to the customer? And the lengths that they go to do those things, sometimes I'm like, there's a lot, but they do it. It's amazing, and we are all the customers. We are very grateful for our customers, including you guys at Addison. And when Maria had made the connection to me about talking to you guys, I was like, "Didn't we meet that guy?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, he was at SMRP." I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember now." Um, so Antoine, last question. People want to get a hold of you if they want to talk planning, scheduling, upkeep, maintenance management, SMRP, CMRP stuff. How can they get a hold of you?
Um, Man, it was freely given to me, and I freely give to anybody else. So you can contact me through LinkedIn under my name, Antwain Henry. It's spelled Antwain. I is silent, but Henry obviously Henry. So I can take calls 689-500-7663. Um, I would say that's it. I think my contact information is on LinkedIn, so that's probably the best bet.
Good. Awesome. Well, Antoine, we wish you luck and we are here to support you in anything that you need. Um, and on behalf of Upkeep, thank you so much for coming on the Pledge Pros podcast. It was awesome talking to you. I love talking to, like I said, people who are
Likewise.
out there doing the work.
I
And
appreciate
you're very welcome. Well, we will see you on the next one.